This session of these short videos on leadership is going to start on the subject of sex. We talked for a few sessions about power. Money and sex are the two reasons why more leaders fail, Christian leaders, but it goes for political leaders too, than anything else. So you could safely conclude from that it's hard to get these right, or maybe it's easy to get them wrong. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Our sexuality, what a powerful drive. It varies a lot from person to person, the strength of it and the orientation of it, and yet it's something that God designed into us, of course, to be able to repopulate the earth. But He also designed it into us so that it is meant to be exercised. We're meant to enjoy it in the context of committed relationships, lifelong relationship between a man and a woman, and into that context we have children. So that they are loved by people of either sex, and that is the maximum opportunity for them to develop their own healthy identity. So that's the plan, the original design. Why does it go wrong? Well, I think it goes wrong often because we don't pay attention to a couple of things. One is the fear of God. The fear of God is a foundation stone that was laid in YWAM very firmly and very deeply in the early days. We had Joy Dawson teaching on the fear of God, and boy, she could put it into you. And then we had Duncan Campbell, the great revivalist from the Hebrides Islands, wonderful man of God who spoke so much about holiness and the fear of God. And those early sessions just went deep into me, and yet I still need to pray for the fear of God and for the grace to live a holy life every day. I've been faithful to a wife for 48 years, I have a family, and I'm really grateful for all that. But let he who stands take heed lest he fall. So it's very important to keep that desire for the fear of God and to live a holy life alive and in our conscious awareness every day. I found just recently, I'm praying more, Lord, increase my fear of God, which is the beginning of wisdom, and it's the hatred of evil. So that's really foundational. But the other thing that I think, came home to me some time back was when Paul writes to Timothy, and he's saying, young man, flee temptation. That's such a crucial thing, because oftentimes we try to live a holy life when it comes to our sexuality, but we get close to temptation. We flirt with temptation. We get around situations, or we watch things, or we listen to things, or we try to experience things that may not be sin in themselves, but they're temptation. They tempt us to sin. And I find that all the battles in this area are best fought, step number one, when you first feel that there's a temptation here. Flee it. Get away from it. I remember some friends that I was talking to, they had seen such a move of God for holiness amongst young people. And one of the young men came back to the pastor and said, I'm really struggling with temptation. I keep falling in this area of my sexuality. So the youth pastor brought him to the senior pastor, and the senior pastor said, well, what's causing your temptation? How are you sinning? And he talked about his computer. So he said, okay, I'll take your computer. You can come into our offices where everybody can see what's on your screen when you need to use your computer. And he said, anything else? He said, well, there's this particular street in town where I know some women live. And he said, well, do you have to go down that street? Don't go down the street. And I thought that's the sort of thing where we need to flee temptation. And I just urge any male leaders, but female too. Where's temptation? Female, it's not usually going to be through your eye gate, what you see tempting you. Men are that way, and so we have to live accordingly. For women, it will be, It will be the touch. It will be the intimate friendship that gets too close. So whatever it is, varies from person to person. Generalities work for the sexes, but everybody's different. Whatever you know are your areas of temptation, flee those and keep asking God for the fear of God and a deep desire for holy living. Remember, I think it was 1 John, wasn't it, where it says that if you claim the name of Jesus, then you need to live like he lived. That's our calling, and that's how to lead with deep influence, because people are attracted to Christ-likeness.